Well, high school football's latest clash of the Titans was only that big on paper. In reality, number 9 St. John Bosco had no problems whatsoever knocking off the number 1 team in the nation, hammering Mater Dei 28-0. Entering the game, Mater Dei had not trailed for a single second this season, but now it's back to the drawing board for a team that had allowed 15 points combined in its previous 5 games. It was a second straight win for Bosco over the Monarchs, too, and the first time Mater Dei's been clean-sheeted since 2011. So you see the implications in the MaxPreps top 25. These are teams 1 through 10. The Braves jumped 6 spots from 9 to 3, and we have a new number 1 as Bishop Gorman takes over at the Summit. Mater Dei remains in the top 5. They're going to try to bounce back versus Orange Lutheran on Thursday. Mill Creek jumping inside the top 10 after they beat Buford last week, their 15th win in a row. All right, so let's welcome in our guys from MaxPreps to talk about this, Zack, Poff, and Steve Montoya. And we start with the game of the weekend, guys. And Zack, obviously the Braves' big win has to be at the summit of this list.
Yeah, man, I'm still kind of in shock just how much St. John Bosco dominated the previous number 1 team in the country, Mater Dei. You brought up that Mater Dei hadn't trailed all season long. And in that game, they only got across the red zone 2 times. And one was at the end of the first half on the final play, which didn't really matter. And the second was on the last drive with backups in the game. So St. John Bosco just clearly dominated from the start all the way to the finish. I was super impressed with their defensive line against arguably the best offensive line in the country. And Caleb Sanchez, the senior quarterback who waited his turn to play quarterback at St. John Bosco, had a pretty efficient game, and they were able to run the ball very well. So they just really dominated on both sides of the ball. You're getting a look at Cameron Jones right there, a 2024 UCLA commit. He was probably the best player on the field that night. He went for 150 total yards and 2 touchdowns in the win. And you brought up, too, this is the first time Mater Dei has been shut out since 2011. And this is probably the first time they've really gotten beaten that bad since 2018 when St. John Bosco beat them 41-18. So you see St. John Bosco make a big jump in the rankings all the way from number 9 to number 3. And we got a new number 1. As Las Vegas Power Bishop Gorman is a new number 1 team in the MaxPreps top 25.
Yeah, I'm also going with a bit of an upset in terms of rankings, and it's Mill Creek out of Georgia as my team of the weekend. They proved they are still the team to beat in this state as they knocked off previously number 5 Buford 31-24. This was an interesting game because it was on ESPN2, and they cut away from this game with 20 seconds left to go to an NBA preseason game, so I had people wondering what the heck happened. But Mill Creek scored late in the game. Justin Western Kentucky commit caught a pass 21 yards out, and now Mill Creek has jumped up, as you mentioned, all the way up in the top 10, and they are rolling right now. The defending 7A state champs, they basically came out in this game and said, hold up, wait a minute here. We're still the top dog in the state of Georgia until somebody can take us down.
Yeah, you see them there at number 9. 15th win in a row for them, and they improved to 7-0 on the season. All right, let's talk about some top players from this weekend. Steve, going to come to you here first for this one. Your top player coming from Cali this week.
Yeah, a little town just outside of Fresno, and Hunter Babb is making some noise. He's making his little town of Carruthers a well-known little area because he leads the country in rushing. It's fun to watch his highlights. He lines up in a wildcat or he'll take it himself as a running back. He's averaging nearly 300 yards per game on the ground. He has over 2,300 yards rushing. He's averaging 11 per carry. He's scored 33 times this year. He's had 3 games where he scored 6 touchdowns. His worst game of the season, he only had 161 yards. So there's a reason Hunter Babb is my player of the week. It's because he leads the country in rushing yards right now.
Yeah, Steve, I'm a rock with the dude in Lone Star State, and that Willis is his 5-star quarterback, a Florida commit, DJ Lagway. And we could probably pick this dude every single week. He's been putting up big-time numbers. He completed 26 of 30 passes for 543 yards and had 5 touchdowns. That's pretty impressive when you throw 30 passes and you have more touchdowns than incompletions. He's been putting up big-time numbers all season. He's thrown for over 2,800 yards, has 41 passing touchdowns, has over 600 yards rushing, and 6 more scores. So he's averaging pretty much 6 total touchdowns every single week. I know Florida fans can't wait till DJ Lagway gets there. He was a new 5-star in 24/7 Sports updated rankings last week. And he has Willis at 8-0 for the first time in over 50 years. And this really could be the year that Willis brings home a state title. And it all has to do with their 5-star quarterback, DJ Lagway, who's putting up video game numbers every single Friday night.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, he's a guy that we've talked about before, could probably talk about every single week. All right, let's talk about top plays. Zach, what do you have for us as a top play this week? I mean, looking at Bab making some of those runs, there's probably some top plays scattered in there, but what do you got for us?
Yeah, I'm going with another running back, and this dude's balling for the number 11 team in the MaxPreps Top 25 at Florida Power St. Thomas Aquinas. This is a program that really sends a lot of guys to the NFL that play on Sundays and a lot of FBS guys that play on Saturdays. And you'll see the play right here. He shows why he's a 4-star Ohio State commit. He gets the carry here, and he's like, oh, that's cute. I'm going to stiff arm you, and we're going to hit the little B move, spin move, whoop, and we're going to come back with another spin move. He pretty much broke about 9 or 10 tackles on that play. It was a touchdown run for him, and they won 42-0. St. Thomas Aquinas has been rolling this year. And a lot of the reason why is because they got playmakers like Jordan Lyle. And Ohio State fans are going to love this dude. Ohio State, one of the remaining undefeated teams left in college football. And I know they can't wait to get under the big-time playmaker making plays like that for them.
Yeah, and then I'm going to head to Ohio, Aurora's Dylan Crassie. This is what you know, laying it all on the line for your team to seal a game as a defensive back. The score was 35-33. The opposing team going for the win. And Crassie says, not so fast. Look, he's somersault. I don't know how he's okay, but he is. He made the catch, and that was basically a game-winning interception. A lot of times you see game-winning touchdowns, Hail Marys in our top plays. This week we're going with a defensive back. Dylan Crassie seals the win for his team, 35-33. I'm glad he's okay, because that one didn't look too good when you see it. But when you make a play like that, you bounce up, you're fine, and you're the hero of the night, wrapping that victory for his team in the state of Ohio.
Yeah, he might have felt that the next morning, but certainly in the moment he was loving that, and great to see some defensive guys getting some love in our top play of the week, one of our top plays of the week. All right, we're getting into the meat and the potatoes of the high school football season here. So obviously every game that's on the schedule is certainly important, certainly when it comes to top 10 teams and in the top 25. But Zach, in terms of looking ahead to our MaxPreps game of the week, what do you have for us this week?
Yeah, we're going to Ohio, man, a meat and potatoes type of state when it comes to big-time football, man. And speaking of big-time football, you look at the offensive line that St. Edwards has. They're the number 24 team in the MaxPreps Top 25. They're 8-1. And they're going to be going on the road, a huge road test against 9-0 Archbishop Hoban. These are the number 2 and number 3 teams ranked in the state of Ohio, just trailing Massillon, who's at number 16. But this is going to be a big-time game. St. Edward, they're yet to lose this year with their starting quarterback, Casey Bullock, under center. He's 7-0. And Archbishop Hoban, man, this is a team they've been rolling this year. They've won every game by double digits. So this is going to be a fun one on Friday. This is going to be the 4th straight year these two Ohio powers are meeting. St. Edwards won the last 2, and Hoban won the one before that. So Hoban's kind of trying to even up the score here over the last 4 years. But I think St. Edwards is going to roll in this one because of that big-time offensive line. They got a couple of Ohio State commits and a Michigan commit really owning the trenches, and I think that's where this game's going to be won for the number 24 team in the MaxPreps Top 25.
Yeah, you know, I see these overhead camera shots like this, and I think I'm watching Madden or something, the way that they play. So it almost looks like a video game when they've got that overhead shot, but certainly a good game coming up this week, our MaxPreps game of the week. Zack, Poff, Steve Montoya from MaxPreps joining us here on HQ to talk about the big games in high school football over the past weekend and getting us ready for what lies ahead. As you look at some of the notable games this week, Mater Dei, we mentioned, they're trying to bounce back after getting blanked this past week. They fall to 7-1. Orange Lutheran is who they're up against. That game on Thursday night. Then we get the game of the week, St. Edward versus Archbishop Hoban. Westlake at Carrollton, that also coming up on Friday. And then late kicks we have for you, Chandler at Basher. That's an all-Arizona game. And then Sarah at Sierra Canyon, number 22 Sierra Canyon at home there. That's a 10 p.m. Eastern time kickoff. And for more from the high school sports scene, all the sports, not just football, be sure you're checking out MaxPreps. Zack, Steve, and all the guys over at MaxPreps giving you all kinds of information on high school games, recruits, the top players, and you see highlights and top plays. Check out MaxPreps.com.